Okay, so the major systemic artery coming from the heart is the aorta, right here. Okay, so aorta arches over the heart like this. Behind the heart is the thoracic artery, thoracic aorta, but you can't see it. Okay, but the first branch off the aorta right here, that's the brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, the brachiocephalic trunk branches into this artery that goes up the neck, which is the right common carotid artery, and then this artery right here that goes to the arm. This is called the axillary artery. Okay, when the axillary artery gets into the arm here, it's called the brachial artery. Okay. Now the second branch off the aorta in the human is the left common carotid artery. In the cat, this left common carotid artery branches off the brachiocephalic trunk. But in the human, it's its own branch. So this is the left common carotid artery. Okay. The third branch off the aorta is the left subclavian artery. Okay, again, that's going to go to the arm. When it gets inside the arm, it's the brachial artery. Okay. Now, the veins here are simple. So in the thoracic area, upper veins here, you have the superior vena cava here. These two branches that feed into the superior vena cava, these are the brachiocephalic veins. Excuse me, brachiocephalic veins here and here. Okay, there are two branches that feed into the brachiocephalic veins: the external jugular vein and the subclavian vein. So you can see that here, external jugular vein, subclavian vein. The subclavian vein receives blood from a number of veins, but the only one you have to know is the brachial vein, which is right next to the brachial artery. Okay. So you pass through the diaphragm here, you have the abdominal aorta and the inferior vena cava in the abdominal cavity. Okay, the first branch off the abdominal aorta is the celiac trunk here. Okay. Second branch off the abdominal aorta is the one that goes to the intestines, which is the superior mesenteric artery here. Okay. The next branch off the abdominal aorta are going to be the two branches that go to the kidneys, the renal arteries. Okay. The last branch before the aorta itself branches is going to be this one right here. This is the inferior mesenteric artery. Okay. Now, when the aorta branches in the human, okay, the first branches off the aorta are the common iliac arteries. Okay. Now, there are no common iliac arteries in the cat. Basically, take this right here and attach it right to the aorta. That's what you have in the cat. This common iliac artery doesn't exist in the cat. Okay, so the common iliac artery branches into the external iliac artery and the internal iliac artery. So that's what you get in the cat. You just get external right off the aorta, internal right off the aorta. Okay, but in human, you have the common first. Okay? Now, the external iliac artery is going to go through the body wall to the leg. Okay, once it's inside the upper leg here, it becomes a femoral artery. Okay. Now, for the veins, okay, you can ignore the veins that go to the liver here and all these veins here. Really, in the cat and the human, the first veins that you guys are going to see are going to be the ones coming from the kidneys. These are the renal veins. Okay, now when you go down to the bottom of the inferior vena cava, you're going to see the inferior vena cava branch. Those first two branches there are the common iliac veins. Now, the anatomy of the iliac veins here in the human and the cat are going to be exactly the same. The cat does have a common iliac vein, okay, here and here. Okay, now the two branches that feed into the common iliac vein are the external iliac vein right next to the artery and the internal iliac vein right next to the artery. Okay. The femoral vein dumps into the external iliac vein here. Okay. That's it.